Hey kids, we are back with subtraction and regrouping. So we're going to look at a few different problems because subtraction with regrouping can be a little tricky, especially when you have to go across one zero or if you have to go across multiple zeros, or just in the case that you have to regroup more than once. So let's do one that's pretty simple. We're going to do just a simple regrouping. So let's go 241 minus, let's just go with 37. Okay? Now you could probably do this really simply by just looking at that and doing 41 minus 37, and you could count up and then just put that 200 back on. So there's several different ways that we can do it with different strategies you've learned over the years, but we are going to stick with regrouping because, like I said in the last video, once we get into our much larger numbers, sometimes doing those break aparts and other strategies that you've done, number lines, things like that, they're not going to be quite as effective, and they're not really practical once you get into those larger numbers. So I'm looking at this and I have one, but if you have one, just one thing, you can't take away 7. Okay, that's not possible. Say 7. Would you see all my fingers? Okay. So if I have 1, there's no way I can take 7 out. So I'm going to borrow a 10. So I'm going to borrow a 10. That's going to leave me 3 10s. Okay, so now I'm going to take that 10 and put it with this 1, which makes this now 11. So if you look and you think this 3 is really 30 plus my 11, I still have 41. I've just regrouped it. Sorry, I got low battery notification on my phone. So I've regrouped it. So I still have 41. It's just 30 and 11. So now 11 minus 7 is going to give you 4. 3 minus 3, or 3 10s minus 3 10s. 30 minus 30 is 0. And then my 200 I'm just going to bring down because there's nothing left to subtract from that. Okay. So that is how you do a traditional simple regrouping. Now let's do some regrouping where we have to go across multiple numbers. So let's do 400, 31 minus 258. Okay. So when you look at this, we have 1 minus 8. Well, we can't do that, just like we couldn't do 1 minus 7. We had to regroup. We're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to borrow a 10. That's going to leave me 2 10s here, or 20, and that's going to make this 11. And again, that same concept. If you think of this as 20 and that's 11, see, I still have 31. I've just regrouped it. Okay, so now I'm going to do 11 minus 8, which is 3. But now I only have 2 10s. So I only have 2 10s, but I got to try and take out 50, or 5 10s, sorry. So I have 20 and I have to take out 50. 2 10s minus 5 10s, you can't do that. So I'm going to borrow 10 10s, which is 100. So I'm going to borrow 10 of them, which is going to make that 300. And now I'm going to have 12 10s. So now I have 12 10s, and 12 10s is 120, correct? So now I have 12 10s minus 5 10s, which will give me 7 10s, okay? And now I have 300 minus 200 is 100. Now, when you look at here, this number looks very large, but let's look at this. We started with 431. This works because I've regrouped it. I've regrouped it to 300 plus 12 10s, which is 120 plus 11. if I add this up, I get 431. So I still have the same amount. I've just regrouped it so that it is easier to work with, okay? So just like some of those other strategies you use, but now we are regrouping. In the next video, we are gonna go over how to regroup with zeros because that one tends to be a little trickier.